Hi, Gerhard Bloom, once again, looking at the tyranny and the delusions of the social justice movement. So I'm in a bit of a bun fight with some pinhead on X. Actually, turns out she's a medical doctor, still a pinhead, showing, pictures of, Palestinian kids, dead, injured, and some of these, hand to heart, looked utterly staged, embarrassingly so. But at any rate, yes, children are dying, and it's a tragedy. But it's unavoidable given the practices that Hamas is engaged in. Hamas could end this all right now. Simply surrender. After all, they're the guilty of slaughtering 1,400 innocent civilians, killing kids in their cribs. Yep, surrender, suffer the consequences, and liberate the people of Gaza. Yeah, free Palestine. Well, they can start by freeing Palestine by removing this evil that is Hamas from Gaza. And it is a sad fact, but far too many people in Gaza support this murderous organization. So, no. Self-government, that is not on the table. And I wish it were otherwise. I don't see two-state solution here happening ever. This is dreaming. As long as, Islam and militant Islam, although I repeat myself, is the reigning ideology, there is zero prospect for peace. Zero. But as regards these innocent civilians being lost, an ambulance. Israel just destroyed an ambulance. Yes, that ambulance was shuttling Hamas fighters, right? Treachery. Oh no, they would never abuse, international law and use a ambulance to smuggle their fighters out of the conflict. No, they, rape women and children, engage in beheadings and torture, but no, they wouldn't misuse an ambulance. You have to be deluded to believe that. There is no evil to which these people will not stoop. And by these people, I don't mean the Palestinians, I mean Hamas and Hamas supporters, of which there are far too many. So yes, Israel destroyed a hospital, killing Hamas fighters, and undoubtedly there were some innocent civilians in proximity. Tragedy, but unavoidable. Al-Shifa Hospital. Beneath that hospital, Hamas had built a bunker and a command and control center under Gaza's largest hospital. They've been operating there for years. Why doesn't Israel simply destroy that hospital and then use a bunker busting bomb? Because it cares about the innocent civilians in that hospital, right? Unlike Hamas. Yeah, there was reports. This is back in 2007. A doctor working in the hospital saw Hamas fighters absolutely everywhere, and Hamas commanders, when necessary, put on a doctor's smock. That's right, a doctor's smock, so they won't get killed as vermin that they are. 2008, 2014, NATO looked at this, found that Hamas, this is a quote, firing rockets, artillery, mortars from or in proximity to heavily populated civilian areas, often from or near facilities which should be protected. And by should be protected, that means under international law. You're not allowed to bomb churches, mosques, and synagogues. You're not allowed to bomb hospitals. That protected status ends when those facilities and institutions are being used to wage war. Then, this calculus of military necessity and proportionality kicks in. And it's, no, not the same number of, no. It's how significant is this military target? If there's enough fighters in a mosque and enough rockets, you can destroy that mosque, knowing that innocent civilians will be killed. It becomes, in certain circumstances, a military necessity. not destroying Al-Shifa hospital. No, I mean, the scale of the tragedy would not offset the military gains. But this does mean that Israeli soldiers will have to do the heavy lifting, dirty, dangerous fighting. They will lose their soldiers' lives to kill these Hamas fighters because they care about the innocent civilians, unlike Hamas. Does everything they can. Journalists from numerous media sources, including the Financial Times, found eyewitnesses of rockets being launched in the proximity of hospitals. This is standard operating procedures for Hamas. So yes, I care about the innocent lives lost, but I care deeply about Israel crushing Hamas, getting control of Gaza, and freeing it from this tyranny of genocidal, militant hatred. And in Europe, riots in the streets, British police being utterly intimidated by, thousands of Muslim and Hamas supporters, and yes, deluded leftists around the White House. People were Hamas supporters trying to climb over the fence and, red painted hands slapped on the walls. Should be pretty easy to get fingerprints from those. They should track these down. Insurrection, right? You climb over a wall at the White House, you should get shot. This is a threat. It's a threat to the safety of the president. I have no love, admiration, or respect for Joe Biden, but I have respect for that office as president. That the White House is sacrosanct. That is sacrosanct, like religious grounds. You attack the White House, you get a bullet coming to you. Awful. And across Europe. I did a video on the riots in France where I said, the police, days and days of riots, thousands of cars destroyed. Muslim men, right? Muslim men. Buildings turned to rubble. You saw the drill, right? Just like the George Floyd riots. Call out the military. Rioters, looters will be shot. Then you shoot the rioters and looters. What's not to understand here? You're out in the street militantly giving expression to a terrorist organization. The military should be on the streets putting a stop to it right now and passing laws. You support Hamas and, militant jihad. The legislatures in these respective countries pass laws. You're a terrorist supporter. You're stripped of your citizenship unless you're a native-born European, in which case you go to jail. The rest of them, off you go then. Lines of trucks, quick determination of your support, which should be pretty easy because the police just rounded you up, or the military just rounded you up, off in the back of a military truck, off to the airport, and back to the shithole country these European countries rescued them from. They never ask why their countries are, crime-ridden, deeply corrupt, violent-prone, and languishing in cultural obscurity, right? What has the Middle East given to us except oil? And oil was absolutely useless and unfound until Europeans got it. We could do something with this oil, this black gold, right? Otherwise, just sitting in the ground doing absolutely nothing. The Europeans who found it, and the Europeans made it useful. And the Arab world, what contributions have they given to us? And I'm not talking about individual Muslims or Arabs. There's been some, decent individuals who've accomplished very good things in their lives. But Western European culture, science, medicine, democracy, the rule of law, this is Western civilization. Where do you find that in the Middle East? Oh, Israel. That's where you find it. There was some Palestinian on some podcast. Oh, this is just, the language of politics being, transcribed into, sort of Muslim and Islamic understanding. If you gave these Palestinians peace and democracy and freedom, well, by golly, it would look like, Western Europe. Except look around the neighborhood. Do you see Syria? Do you see Lebanon? Used to be Paris of the Middle East until the Muslims ruined it. The Muslim Arabs ruined it, destroyed the country. Where? Egypt? They tried democracy there. They voted in, the Muslim Brotherhood. And then the people who voted them in are like, oh, no. So a military coup, which was widely supported because, democracy doesn't work there. What about Afghanistan? What country in the Middle East, other than Israel, has anything like the freedoms, the liberty, scientific progress, all sorts of major patents and inventions are going on in Israel. Strong, robust economy. You could be gay there and not get your head cut off. Absolutely awful. It's all poisonous lies. Anyways, my rant for the day. And yes, Israel, IDF destroyed an ambulance. Too bad, so sad, But hey, on the good side for the Palestinians, some Hamas fighters got their martyrdom. I wish them well. I wish all of those Palestinian fighters. They're not fighters, they're murderous thugs. I was a soldier. These guys aren't soldiers. You look for the enemy to kill, another soldier, another combatant. No, you don't rape women and slaughter babies and torture people. That's not a soldier. That's not a warrior. Anyways, thanks so much for your time and attention. If you enjoyed the video, please do drop a thumbs up. Gratifies my fragile male ego. And yes, check out my book, Deconstructing Social Justice, available on Amazon. Not important because I wrote it. I wrote it because the issues could not be more important. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Bye-bye now.